but there was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs, so we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
Is that the only strike that the U.S. has done?
I don't want to comment on
Mr. President. Can you say anything more about the...
Well, how is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? It is indeed December 29th, 2025, and we bring to you episode 189? Yeah, 189 of Hold the Line here with Mac and Lisa. And we're going to start with a little different one, but we're going to get to that one in a second. But I hope you guys had a wonderful Merry Christmas out there. I hope Santa Claus brought you guys all that you were asking for and more. But of course, before we get going too much, let's say hi to Miss Lisa and then Mr. Mac. Lisa, how was Christmas time for you? Hopefully Santa brought you everything you wished and you were on the good list and didn't get coal. What's up?
Yeah, peace and quiet. That's what I got. Which I enjoyed immensely, let me tell you.
Right.
Peace, quiet. That's all I wanted for Christmas. You know?
Are you a Scorpio?
Does it matter?
I don't know.
Nope.
I just thought Scorpios like to be alone. You know, they like their alone time. But yeah. So how's everything over in across the pond over in our motherland there?
Cold, and cold and frosty.
Yes.
You
Stay
know,
frosty.
we feel frosty about the government. We're frosty about a lot of things right now, which maybe we'll talk about on the show. But I hope everybody had a good time. And yeah, let's see what happens for the new year.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, it's things are spicing up for sure. What's going on, Mac? Hope you had a great Christmas as well. Hope again, same as Lisa. Hope Santa Claus didn't bring you any coal. I'm guessing he didn't bring you any coal. You're on the good list. But how was the Christmas? How was the break? And,
only big beautiful coal.
yeah, we'll get to that probably. How
No,
good
my
was that?
Christmas was good. Yeah, it was great. Merry Christmas again, everyone. Happy New Year. Pre-Happy New Year, but we're coming up on it. And thanks to everybody that listens, the mods, thank you, and Space Shot, thanks for having us. But this past week was nice, relaxing. Got to hang out with family. Not everybody, not a full boat, but it was a good Christmas. So that's
Heck
about
yeah.
it.
Heck yeah, brother. And maybe I wasn't gonna, but we can pivot over to that really quickly. And it is funny too, right? And it's like, who else could make this sound funny or good or whatever? But let's take a little listen to Santa Claus taking phone calls at the White House, apparently side by side here from Miss Melania. And let's take a listen to what they say.
What would you like Santa to bring?
Not coal.
Not coal. No, you don't want coal. Well, coal is, you mean clean, beautiful coal. I had to do that, I'm sorry. No, coal is clean and beautiful. Please remember that at all costs. What would you like Santa
How
to
good
bring?
is that? I mean, it's just so funny too. And do you see the lovely Miss Melania look over like, what are you doing? Are you kidding? So nice little moment there. President Trump, mixing it up with the kids there, taking the phone calls, but kind of getting back to some of the things now. This is our job here, guys, is to take this information out of our echo chamber, and we need to get this stuff out until the regular normies out there, guys, right? So this information right here are the things that you should be using as putting in your little ammo box, right? For when the Democrats come out and they say, oh, Trump's doing this and he's bombing this person and bombing that. And just remember,
Barack Obama
had a drone campaign. He fired 560 drone strikes, killed not just terrorists, but killed an American citizen, Anwar al-Awlaki. Did it on the ground, violating sovereignty instead of in international waters. And he regularly did what are called double tap and even triple tap strikes. I interviewed David Shedd, who on my podcast, What the Hell is Going On Today, who was the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency under Obama. And he said, we did double tap strikes all of the time. In fact, we usually had a second Predator in the sky waiting for the intelligence to clear to see if there were any survivors so we could take them out. So this was a regular practice under the Obama administration because they were going after terrorists. Trump has declared these people foreign terrorist organizations. He's using the same authority as the Obama administration.
Now, in terms of how we characterize the fight between the United States and these drug cartels, here's what the DEA Administrator Terry Cole said earlier today.
This is all about saving American citizens and protecting our national security.
All right, so that's basically in a nutshell, that's the 10-second elevator pitch, what this is all about. Democrats say that the Trump administration is desperately trying to make this like, it's Al-Qaeda or it's ISIS. Well, I counted up, about 3,100 Americans died at the hands of Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Last year in this country, it was 80,391 people died of overdose deaths in the United States. So is this or is this not a threat to American national security and to Americans?
If you're killed by a plane or if you're killed by poison, you're equally dead. Right? And these people are poisoning the American people. This is an act of terrorism. The president has full legal authority to do this. First of all, he designated them foreign terrorist organizations. Then he notified Congress that we were in an armed conflict with those terrorist organizations. Then he had the Office of Legal Counsel prepare a memo setting the parameters for what was legal and what was within the laws of war for carrying out these strikes. And they've been following that. Not a single lawyer has objected.
Isn't that interesting how the tides change, guys? And like I said before, you know, if you don't like a politician's or a typical Democrat opinion on a matter, you just give it another 6 months and it's going to change. Certainly after an administration changes. But, you know, where were all the people up in arms? You know, we had people on our side, of course, calling out the American citizen being killed, but him just droning people away. But everybody that was on that side nice and quiet before are getting very loud about President Trump now, and it's just, you know, it's par for the course at this point. Miss Lisa, I don't know if any comments to be on this one, and you know, we could talk about, you know, how much drugs are really coming from there, what drugs are really coming from there, and what drugs are really not, or whatever you would like to speak about. But yeah, killing people to save people.
What comes to mind is in about 2013 and an Obama strike, where he launched 4 Hellfire missiles on a convoy, and it was a wedding convoy. I can remember seeing the pictures of that. And I don't know, maybe 11 people killed in that one strike. You know, so I just don't think that they've got a leg to stand on, given how many drone strikes he actually did and how many actual civilians got killed. So far, have we heard of any civilians being killed? No. With Trump, but with Obama, yes. I don't think there's anything more to say.
Absolutely crazy. And it's just interesting that they never, you know, they never have a problem with these things until it's this side. So that's why we need to get loud about it and let the folks know what is really what. And the dumpster fire, Mac, you know, your comments are obviously wanted here as well. But are you noticing how much of a dumpster fire Twitter's turned into lately?
Oh yeah, I just look for
it's so bad.
The facts I can pull out of it. You know, I've got my methods of training myself well, I think, to avoid certain aspects.
It's tough though now, dude. It's tough. It's like, you know, when you go on Twitter, you have the For You tab and the Following tab, right? So the following should only be the people that I'm following. I can go down my thing, and the account that I see the most, and I don't know if this is the same for you guys in the chat and you and Mac and Lisa, whenever you may be on X, formerly Twitter, is an account that's called MAGA Cult Slayer. That's the one I see more than any account on Twitter. And why would that be? even though I don't follow the person, and every single thing that comes out of their mouth is just anti-Trump, and half of it's made up, or 90% of it's made up. I don't know, but it is absolutely a dumpster fire there now.
X Twitter has become a pay-to-play format kind of thing. You pay the money or you get more exposure, it seems like, and then people like it, they'll pass it around, even more. One thing about these bombings, or whatever you want to call them, on the drug boats, it's to go along with Lisa saying, we are seeing the change of rules of engagement. We are now protecting our troops, our citizens, instead of what Obama did was change the rules of engagement, where they had to strike first in order for us to attack them, which is completely asinine.
Yeah.
This is preventative warfare here. We're already it's been shown that we're under attack from illegal immigrants, the drugs, amongst, many other things, but it's all encompassing of a bad entity trying to upend our country. So I think that President Trump's doing a great job, like just going step by step, being transparent, following the law. And there are certain rules that they have to follow in order for certain things to happen. So I think we're seeing that unfold. I just don't know how to look that stuff up to see, what steps need to qualify in order for them to, we'll get to what I'm getting at, but yeah.
And Mike, if you just think about what's the oath that the President of the United States takes, what's the main thing?
To preserve and protect.
Preserve and protect.
The
All right, and same with the military. So go back to Directive 51, courtesy of George W. Bush, in about 2003, 2004, somewhere like that. Where if there's an American life at stake, or an American might be harmed, then it's the president's job to deal with that. That's your constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So
we finally have someone doing it, and so
I don't know what they're talking about.
A inaction review of what a real president's supposed to do instead of what we've had in the past, which was ignore American lives and so forth.
Yeah, the rules of engagement were definitely changed, and it was more difficult for our soldiers in the prior administration, for sure. Lisa, did you say you're going to add something to that?
No, I can. Well, maybe. I think I remember. Was it Iraq or something like that, where they were given the order not to engage and things like that. There were strange things as ISIS was being protected. And then you have that hypocritical motion where you've got the Obama drone strikes. I don't know. There's just something weird about it. On the one hand, don't engage for the military, and then on the other hand is doing the drone strikes. So I wonder whether the drone strikes were just for, creating a nice narrative. Making it look like he was doing something, even though it seems that ISIS were protected, or didn't he set it up? Was it ISIS or ISIL?
Well, I don't know what they would be covering up, but it sure seems like they would do something like this to upend any type of evidence or trails of evidence, so to speak. I mean, when you're at war, there's a lot of shady stuff that can go on, and I just wonder if that was part of what they were doing. Benghazi, we sold the weapons to them.
Mm-hmm.
So you wonder what they're covering up. That what's that saying?
Careful what you wish for. No, I don't know. But yeah, just in regards quickly to the rules of engagement, they were under pretty much like a tightrope under Obama, right? And they basically relaxed those so they can actually engage hostile fighters, insurgents, whatever you want to call them. And it was much more difficult under Obama. Let's just put it that way. And then you also had other times. Remember, yeah, we had people saying, we were told to bring weapons out to this location and bring them to this whatever, and we get there and there'd be nobody there, and they'd say, okay, just leave them, and we're like, well, if we leave these weapons, then basically, the enemies could grab them. They're like, you have your orders, drop the weapons. Like we've heard that multiple times too. So he was,
what do you think happens there? The gun traffickers come in and they scoop them up, and then they resell them, and people get like probably a little cut of that.
Heck yeah,
whatever it is.
They're getting their cut, and they get what do you call it? To keep the region in a constant battle. They want that Middle East constantly be fighting. Yeah, conflict all the time.
People make money from war. They don't make money from peace. I think that's it. And the Ukraine, the weapons that have been supposedly given to the Ukraine, they've been turning up all over the place. All over the place. All over the world.
So, which kind of, I think we'll get into this, but a lot of what we've been put through has been a trap to the bad guys, and I think we're seeing that kind of come to the surface in several ways.
Yes, I agree with that too.
We'll get to it, I'm sure, with some Somalia.
Oh yeah, actually too. Yeah. I'm just gonna do this one because I want to make a point here before I go, and I didn't have really an article just for this here, so I just want to. You have. Can anybody look back right now and honestly say, with a straight face, they were trying to, like, I can't even say it without laughing. They were trying to win the election, right? With Kamala Harris and this guy, right? Please put unless you're from Minnesota and you know who the guy is, I could see one thing. But does anybody not from that region have the first idea of who the hell this guy was whatsoever?
No.
I don't, nobody, right? And then they were talking, maybe Shapiro from Pennsylvania. And I'm like, well, why didn't Shapiro go? You certainly would have gave him a better, a better showing than, the Richard Simmons impersonator over here. Remember, he came running on the stage all waving his hands like a wild person and this, that, and the other. And it's like, now you look back and you're like, wait. So I think you make a very good point here, Mac, as far as basically setting up these people, right? And then, so I'm looking back at this going, yeah, this right here was part of this whole shtick going all the way back to, at least for when they grabbed Waltz here. And the intention was, in my opinion, never to win the election, but to put this guy on the friggin' main stage, right? And then, well, why would we want to do that? Let's see.
Who's his handler? Anybody know that answer?
I don't know.
It's got to be one of these billionaires. I don't know.
Right?
But it would seem like behind the scenes that they would be like, I've got my guy, so he's going to go. It just seems like they're covering up corruption at the same time. But, I'm curious where the money goes. Go ahead, Lisa.
Absolutely.
For me, I think that, we should look at the money trail, and you'll probably just find that it's being laundered back to politicians. Not all of it, but a good amount. Because, they used the food program, and the food program was kind of nationwide. So it wasn't just in Minnesota, it was everywhere. That was championed by who? Michelle Obama? Yes. And then they need to have a look at who these companies receiving the money were donating to. And it will probably be, the politicians. Because they always find a way to appropriate
and
funds.
The lawyers.
So it's access to federal funds and state funds that is easily given away, easily accessible. Just set up a company, anybody, where was the oversight? And Tim Walsh says, oh, well, we relaxed the rules to get the money out. But it's like, yeah, but then you would still have people like health inspectors, this inspector, that inspector. I don't know if anybody's ever run a company, but, the amount of inspections that you get in that particular area should have uncovered all of that, really. So for me, it's like, obviously, a setup, but it was a big setup because what is the total amount that was given to these food programs across the country, across the
Ridiculous.
whole country.
Hundreds of billions, if not trillions.
Oh, all right. So there you go. It's a massive amount.
Yeah, so this is going to like lead to many states and many, not just probably Somalians. It's probably going to be other indigenous groups, or not indigenous, but groups of people. I did a quick dig in the chat. If you want to see who's financially backing Tim Waltz, I found some interesting names.
Let's. I'm not going to play this, but we're definitely going to get to that in 1 second. But I think we touched on this, so there's no really need to. Didn't we played this last week? I think, and I think everybody in the crowd.
No, this just came out for us.
Okay. All right. So just a really quick, because I'm sure most of the people in the chat, they watch shows all day as well, and they're probably seeing the same news that they see most of the day. And we do appreciate you guys coming here to check us out as well. But this is Nick Shirley, and he's a YouTuber essentially, right? And so the cries that I've been hearing is like, wait, why is our government not doing anything? But we got a freaking YouTuber in a sweatshirt uncovering massive amounts of fraud. He says we uncovered over $110 million in one day. And so just for brevity here, he's with this guy, I forget this guy's name here, but he's in the area and he found out about all these things. And so when you go to this area, they go to one building and there's like, ABC Learning Center. And hey, they actually spelt learning correct on that one. It's luring is the
Leering.
Other way. Yeah, leering. So yeah, you got Twins Home Health Care, and just for everybody out there who may say like, oh my God, this number goes to Tim Waltz's office. They're not that stupid. They are stupid. These people are stupid, but they're not that dumb. You can make edits on web pages and things like that. Google, suggest an edit, put a phone number and things like that. Just be cautious of that. I'm not saying everyone is fake, but people are saying like, oh, this one goes to whatever, or a different one does. But the long and short of it is they have a string of these buildings, and you got a lock on the door right there. You can see. And he's like, all right, well, where are the kids? Like daycare center. Okay, where are the kids? No kids around. All right. He goes to healthcare place. All right. One building had, 20, 30 healthcare things in it. He's like, oh, I'm just looking for rates for, healthcare. And they're like, no. And he's like, well, wait, why can't I get, I just need a quote on healthcare and, need a quote for, childcare and stuff. And they're all telling him like, no. So, this part right here was pretty interesting with this guy. This is a very short one. So he basically said, hey, this is supposed to be a daycare. Have you ever seen any kids in here? Nope, never seen anybody. So, they were basically given $1 million last year, $1 million this year. So the long and short of it is there are massive amounts of fraudulent, I won't even call them businesses. I guess you could call them businesses because they are filed as businesses, but they're essentially not doing any business. All they're doing is soaking up all this money that is being given out here. So, and here's the best part of it, guys.
Address?
Yeah, so as we got escorted out of this building, the Somalis filmed us as we left, and
he gets kicked out for essentially trespassing, which he's going into a business and saying, hey, could I get a quote for, A, B, and C? And they're saying no. Nobody ever, maybe a couple people did say leave or whatever, but essentially he got trespassed out of there. That was the long and short of that. But, so here's the difference, guys, right? Under previous administration, Biden, Bush, Obama, that's it. That's where that stuff ends, right there and then. And we end with outrage, and we end with people being pissed off. And so it was a breath of fresh air to see some of this stuff going on here today. So this is Christy Nome, and I'll leave it so you guys can see the thing here. Essentially, no need to, he's just asking questions, but essentially, Christy Nome comes out and says, hey, we got Homeland Security investigations, and ICE Gov are on the ground in Minneapolis right now conducting a massive investigation on childcare and other rampant fraud. More coming, which is great, right? And then it's like, oh, you got the, the Debbie Downers in the chat that say, oh, whatever. I even saw one jerk off that, his key contribution to the chat thread was blah, blah, blah. That was it. And I can understand why people get pissed off from not getting charges. You're not seeing things. But then we followed up with this one here. We have charged, here we go, sorry. We have charged 98 individuals in relation to fraud in Minnesota. More than 60 have pled guilty or being convicted. More to come. Nick Shirley's work has helped show Americans the scale of fraud in Tim Waltz's Minnesota. Now, I ask you that. This is a kind of a rhetorical question again, but Did you guys ever think that they were really bringing this guy? Here we go.
Look, it's not law-abiding.
This guy to be the genuine, well, he's going to be our guy. He's going to help Harris get the presidency. In my opinion, in no way, shape, or form was that ever the plan. I went with Lisa last time. Mr. Mac, any comments on this one? And then we'll move over to Miss Lisa.
Well, I always
we'll get to your thing.
look at this in two ways, and just like the white hats put him in there to expose this corruption, or are they trying to cover it up? That's always something that it's in the back of my mind. Now, the investigations that we're reading about with this guy, it actually started early 2022, and it was called Feeding Our Future Investigation. And that was the original investigation. I think this is now curtailing into the bigger pictures of what it all entailed. We're finding out about this now. I think it's because the investigation's probably over, and now it's going to be on the DOJ's hands, and they will be, like you said, prosecuting people, indicting them. So, very interesting times with that. Now, look at this. Look who's behind Tim Walz here. If you want to take a gander at that.
Based on available campaigns finance records, no billionaires are publicly listed as individuals to Tim Walz's campaign. However, several wealthy individuals and major donors with significant financial resources have contributed, including Alida Rockefeller Messinger, gave $1.1 million to Win Minnesota. George Soros, $250,000 to the Minnesota DFL party. Jeffrey Ettinger, former Hormel CEO, $50,000. Robert Poland, owner of the Minnesota Twins, part of a billionaire family, $75,000. Vince Opperman, $100,000. He's a prominent Democrat donor and publisher. He gave $100,000 to Win Minnesota and $250K to the DFL party. All these individuals are not all confirmed billionaires, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, so they got big money people backing him. And, they needed to get the funding, and they needed to get the word out to make it look good, right? But, I mean, it was a joke, in my opinion.
Lisa was saying, I think a lot of the money, though, is hidden, behind this, the 501c4s, which is dark money, and then they funnel them in through, I don't know how many different shell companies. It just seems like it's a huge working fraud scheme that has many different avenues they can go down. They set up the laws too. It's crazy.
Exactamundo.
Other than the politicians, Lisa was talking about, the lawyers that are behind it. Most politicians are lawyers, but the lawyers are very culpable in this. They're the ones that have been kind of assisting in all this, and just seeming like they're not complicit. I think they're the biggest orchestrators of all this, because they know the law inside and out and how to work around it.
Absolutely. Miss Lisa.
Does anybody remember Tim Walz's connection to China? Tampon Tim, let's not forget that.
China is that whole.
Oh wait, here's Tim Walz and his workout program. Oh wait, I'm sorry, that's not him.
and do you remember the allegations from the kid who used to go to Tim Walz's house and all of that? Do you remember that? Can you
remind the folks? Can you remind me and the folks at home?
There was a kid that was he used to teach him, and he accused Tim Walz of sexual abuse, and he had him staying at his house.
Oh wow!
And he used to take the kids to China.
Oh my God!
But he's got serious connections to China.
Oh my!
So that came out, and it just kind of disappeared. Maybe a couple of years ago. So it's just interesting that all of that just disappeared, And now we find ourselves 2 years later, and here we are with all of this laundering. But I do think, the bigger picture is that this is probably done all across the country.
And he said he was a part of the military. He never was. That was another thing.
Stolen valor.
National Guard or something like that. I think.
Tim Waltz has been to China at least 30 times.
Jeez, they put Dancing Queen. I don't know if that was a real song that was on there, but I mean, think about that, guys, right? Like, really use your noggin for a second and think back. Like you know, they don't just go, oh, let me go through a Rolodex. Yeah, we got Shapiro, we got Waltz. They're like, all right, what does this guy look like? How does he act? How does he interact with people? And then you went forward with this guy as your vice president nominee, right?
Well, yeah, but maybe you went forward with it because you needed to keep covering up, you know.
Yeah, true.
And he seems to be well embedded within the scheme, you know.
I've got a good funny in the chat for you to play a stand up a little bit.
Okay, definitely. I'm gonna play this one quick here, and then again, I can't stand when people take a straight up video like this and slap their friggin' icon on it. End wokeness. Okay, the friggin' video from the Minnesota State House. It's not your video, buddy. But anyway, here we go. And I think MaQaveli mentioned this one earlier.
To be clear that the legislative audit report gave us a clear path. It told us that we could do better, and just like Minlar's, I now own that. And I own the fix for that. But I do want to be clear, before we take some other questions on this, that what needs to stop is a demonization of one community involved in this. What needs to stop is an absolutely unproven storyline that continues to resurface on the House floor, that this money went to terrorists and it's targeted at one group of our citizens here, of Minnesotans. We'll own that this thing needs to be fixed. We'll own that there were problems in this. We will own that there are fixes, and we think we proposed the right amount, but we're open.
So this was 2019, ladies and gentlemen, right? you're running on almost 7 years here, if my math is right? And it happens to be March 22nd, maybe March, January, February, March. Yeah, 322 on 2019. So almost 7 years ago, they knew there was a problem. However, you know, we go over here and I forget which one it is, but you know, we still have not this one. We still have the problem going on, clearly. And you know, Lisa, you need to stop being racist and going after the community of Somalians. It's not fair that you would single out these Somalians because, you know, they're foreigners and you just, you know, you're racist. That's what it is.
when the majority of people charged so far in Minnesota are Somalian. Yes? So out of 70 odd people that were charged, how many?
98.
Or was it more? 98. All right. And 85 are of Somali descent. So you're not supposed to draw any conclusion from that fact. That's what they're saying. That's what he's saying, which is ridiculous. You know, so in other words, no, it's not the Somali. You know, I think that the Somali community have probably been used. Yes. But they were definitely part of it. And you know, if I was a law-abiding and Somalian, then I would be like just embarrassed about my community and what they've done.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So why shouldn't anybody say it as it is? You know, 85 out of 98 charged are of Somali descent. That's nearly all of them. What's 85 as a percentage of 98, Mike?
I don't know, but I know what 9 plus 8 is.
I didn't hear the question.
85 of 98. What's the percentage on that? I would have to get to my calculator on that one.
It's 83.67%.
Crazy. And yeah, I mean, so
Somalian.
Yeah,
but
it's crazy, right?
But if you think about it, it's like it's kids, you know. A lot of illegal migrants have a lot of children, certain cultures, so you get more kids. Remember, it's not just the food, it's like money for autism, money for health, money for care, you know. It's lots of different pots of money. It's not just one. You know, it's not just the food program. There's other programs that work in exactly the same way. And then at the same time, it's like if you were seconded to be part of it, as in you're new into the country, and then you do take part in it, but you do know that it's illegal, you probably wouldn't say anything if they were using your kids. Yes?
Yep.
So I'm not blaming the Somali community for that, because I don't think that it's like, look, these people are new into a country. English is the second language. Do you really think that they're smarter than American politicians? So no, it was American politicians that were behind this gig, if you ask me. And that's what they should be looking for. Because there's no way somebody comes into your country and is that smart to organize all of this.
Yeah, it's impossible.
With the access as well. So it had to be from within.
Yeah, you have your fixers, as
Yeah.
you call them. And then you have your implants in Somalia, implants in the United States. You have your politicians and lawmakers, and then you have your money sources. So there's many entities that made this operate, and it's been going on for many years. So Obama, I think, isn't he the one that's behind a lot of this, the origination of Somalis, mass migrating to the United States?
Well, the Obama administration,
I think it was the Obama administration.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Well,
then wasn't it Biden that gave them special status just a couple of years ago that runs out next year?
I mean, the whole system is just rife for it. And you're right, though, Lisa. You make a good point about, I'm sure there are, some Somalians that are in on it and they know what's going on, but probably a majority of them, don't have a clue. And you wonder, where are the kids? They're probably all at home, being watched. But are they getting kickbacks too? Well, hey, we're going to say your kid's here, or do they not even know about it, right? But the main part of it is being exposed, right? We did have some random, YouTuber expose this stuff, and then, wow, DOJ and Homeland Security actually took action on this stuff, which you would never see that in the past at all.
Is anybody seeing major coverage in the major news channels? I'm not seeing a lot of it.
Nope.
Oh.
Like you're not seeing much about silver either, which we'll touch on a little bit later, which is pretty crazy. So this is really quick. I'm just going to summarize a couple of these just really quick. But scam one, feeding our future. Largest COVID-19 fraud case charged in the country. Claimed to serve children millions of free meals during COVID. Few, if any, were ever fed. Submitted fake invoices, fake rosters of kids purportedly receiving meals. 78 defendants charged to date, 57 convicted. 72 defendants are of Somalian descent. 5 defendants are currently fugitives in Africa. I wonder which country they went back to in Africa. Millions of taxpayer dollars in fraud proceeds were sent overseas to East Africa and the Middle East. Ultimate price tag, $300 to $400 million. The conviction of feeding our future scheme leader, that guy Shafi Farah, he was sentenced to 28 years in prison in order to pay over $47 million in restitution. And just last month, another guy they got 10 years in federal prison, ordered him to pay millions. Which, are they going to get this back, you think? I don't know, Lisa. Jury bribery? Not unlike you'd see in corrupt Somali judicial system, defendants feeding our future case intimidated a cooperating defendant and intended to bribe jurors. 3 defendants delivered a bag containing $120,000 in cash to a juror's house. Jury bribery.
You got to be careful, kind of trying it on the home turf, because they're on the territory, right?
Absolutely. And so I wonder what the venue can be if they're taking federal funds. Can you bring that venue back? And do we even want to bring it back to D.C.? But, can we bring it to any venue? Because I wonder if it has to be D.C. or Minnesota in that case, because I'm guessing that's what it would have to be. So it's like choose your poison at that point.
I'm wondering. But wasn't there, years ago, I can remember I can't remember his name, who was running the UN, but his son was involved in a scam regarding food for children, I'm sure. He ran the UN for years. I can't remember. Kofi Annan. Kofi Annan. His son, there was a huge scandal with all of the money that the UN was supposed to be given for food. And he was appropriating the money, not Kofi Annan himself. I think it was his son. And then they had the oil for food program with Iraq. I don't know. Money from Iraq was used for humanitarian purposes, supposedly for food. Not even sure that one went right. You know, so it's like, why haven't people learned their lesson? I just don't think you can do programs like this. And then the money originates from, is it like COVID relief or something like that?
The PPP loans. That's a trap. We said that a long time ago.
No, I think money was just made available because of COVID. So it's like, okay, now we look at the federal government and it's like, well, you know, why would you do that? You can't really do that again because obviously it doesn't work. You see what I mean? So it did go through, I'm pretty sure there was some COVID, not PPP. It wasn't done through PPP. I'm just talking about money was available to sustain people during COVID. And there was a huge amount of money. And that's the money that has been misappropriated. That's when all of these things started, I think. Or some of these things at least.
That's crazy. And what were you saying a little while ago? You guys were saying essentially that, you know, what we're seeing here in Minnesota is most likely a widespread area around the country, right? And yes, I couldn't agree more, but I'm gonna give you another little touche to that one right here. How about this? Sweden discovers $100 million vanished into fake schools run by imams, money-funded sex clubs in Thailand, and Islamist parties in Somalia. 1 billion Swedish kroner stolen, gone, private schools, kindergartens that existed just long enough to collect government vouchers before the operators fled the country. So is like this going on like literally everywhere? Like with all this extra aid, it's crazy.
We've got fake colleges. So the government in the UK, I believe, that if you're a foreign student, you can apply to our government to get your school fees paid. So therefore, there's a lot of colleges that are set up that just don't run any classes, but they receive a whole heap of money. It's a big scam. And then in Australia, you've got something that's like to do with disability. They've got a big scam going on with that, you know, that the government over there aren't quite sorting out. It is a way to appropriate federal funds. And it's a lot of money.
Amazing.
So it's not surprising.
And there's no auditing of where the money goes. So that's where that has to change. And I think where they're in the process of changing all of that. But because of this, I think everyone thought that, you know, in the background, I think since all this appropriating of funds, it's been a trap. So they've been following where this money's been going, obviously. And I think this is going to cover a huge like fraud network of many different categories. And the stuff you were talking about, just all this reminds me of like what the Clinton Foundation did in Haiti and stuff, where they just nothing went back to the people of Haiti, and it was all human trafficking and stuff. It's just crazy.
Nuts. I mean, yeah. And it's great that it's finally being exposed, finally. And let me, Lisa, just give me 1 second. I just want to thank Red Pill for rating the show about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes ago. So appreciate that, Red Pill. And then I also want to thank Whip and Spur. Thank you very much for gifting out 5 subscriptions to the channel. And then, just as I'm about to say that, Coco 2011, that's a new name for me, and I'm pretty good with remembering names. So also gifted out 5 subscriptions to the channel. So I appreciate that, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you guys. But Lisa, you were going to say something?
Like it's basically just it's highlighting aid money, because that's what it is, aid and relief money, and what happens with that money. A bit like some of these charities, and you give money to these charities, it's not really going to the targets, it's going to the people. And it's been going on a long time, and it's about time it was sorted out, really.
True. And we won't spend a terrible amount of time on this, but just to let you guys know, in my opinion, this is not financial advice, but don't fall for it right now. Don't be selling your silver or gold right now, is my opinion. And again, not, financial advice, but again, I've told you guys how often that it's never going to be less than $1, right? It's never going to be worth less than the dollar. So
do you remember covering this subject on the show, I don't know, many moons ago? At least I know you remember. We've done this a couple times, and how just silver is a manipulated market, and so it should be so it should be a lot higher. It's just where I think some people say it should be equivalent to gold. What are your all thoughts on that? Because and why is it skyrocketing?
In my opinion, right, they have been artificially keeping the price of silver down for as long as I can remember, right? And the way they do this is they say, oh, well, the price is about to go up because there's no silver, it's scarce. And then, oh, well, look at, I forget the bullion market, whatever. Oh, they just received $1 billion worth of silver in paper, right? But they don't, in my opinion, they don't get the physical silver. They get, oh my God, just got all these ounces of silver. So, nope, the scarcity's not there. So they lie basically the whole time. They do this game. But as we're getting into this AI stuff, I think the charade is falling away, and they're not going to be able to keep continuing to do this for any length of time. But they have absolutely been doing this, and one company apparently got a margin call the other day that had a big impact on things, which I'm going to pull up here. My buddy PWD Oathkeeper had dropped this one off because me and him often talk about silver and how much we believe that it's going to keep going up. But so just for a really quick thing for you guys, let me just do this. I did this the last couple of days. Remember, it went up to 79 the other day, which was 10% in one day. And then yesterday it went down 9%. Down, and I think it went up, 2% today. So we're back to 72, right? But then what do we got here? Margin call. Is a large bullion bank's short silver position about to be liquidated? Right? And so this is what happened. Did a bullion bank just buy $429 million in silver miner ETF calls after receiving a margin call on its naked short silver position? 17 non-U.S. banks were net short 43,000 COMEX silver contracts, or 215 million ounces. Whoops. Prior to silver's parabolic move higher, and reportedly short hundreds of billions of ounces via the OTC derivatives market. On Christmas Day, the physical price of silver shot past 80 in Shanghai. I think it was at 85. That afternoon, Silver Trade warned readers that if COMEX allowed U.S. silver prices to chase Shanghai price setting into the 80s, it would immediately detonate the global bullion bank's derivative books. So it's a shell game. They're playing this massive shell game. And anybody know of anybody that can just pull up, 215 million ounces out of the blue? I don't. So MaQaveli, I don't know how much you guys get into the gold and silver stuff. So, but if you have any comments on this, people got scared yesterday. Went, oh my God, it went all the way down to 70 from 79. When I'm guessing most people had to have bought into silver for less than 50 or 60 at this point. Don't get shook, don't get scared. Is my opinion, not financial advice. But MaQaveli, you don't have anything on this one? I'll move on to the next.
Just to say that silver is one of those metals that is required for lots of different things.
Yes.
Manufacturing, all kinds of different things. So silver's got a use. And I just wouldn't be influenced by the game, as I call it. They control it. They can make the price go up. They can make the price go down. They can kind of do what they like because they own the board, you know?
Yeah, and it's used
I
like
would
Max
ignore
said,
them.
so many
I would
things it's used
ignore
for.
them, personally. Yeah?
Yeah, and medical equipment, right? We got electronic, solar energy, automotive, medical, water purification, chemicals, mirrors, optics, batteries, jewelry, coins, bullion, photography, and then the key properties driving the use: electric conductivity, thermal conductivity, reflectivity, antimicrobial, and malleability and ductility, easily shaped into wires and forms.
Oh, I just ran into something here.
Uh-oh.
I gotta send this to you. It's about the
Okay.
silver market. Mexico actually, I think, mines 24% of the world's silver, and from there, I kind of took it to the next level, and it's the banks actually control a lot of the market, and it's based out of London, the London Bullion Association,
The,
and there's an issue that the paper silver contracts far exceed the available physical silver. The ratios are as high as 378 to 1.
Shit. I mean, that's
So
exactly what we've been discussing, right? That's exactly the
yeah,
thing.
so
That's the reason.
here you can read that rest of it if you like,
it's
but
for the,
that just shows you how unstable that market is. So I think we're going to see some stabilization somehow, of seeing why it's been manipulated.
well, there's the LBMA, the London Bullions and Metals Association, or something like that. It stands for, or something similar, and that's run by the Rothschilds. You know,
Yep.
so it's the prices around that. That's the price that everybody goes off. So they set the prices. So there you go. There's the control of the game. You know. And I'm talking out there in the market, but it doesn't necessarily represent the real value, is what I'm saying. It's what they say it is. But, this is the same organization that found that, they were supposed to have gold in Rotterdam or something, and they opened it up and it was a bunch of rocks. So, how much would you really trust these people, even though they run the market?
Oh my God.
And China plays a powerful role here by controlling 60 to 70% of the world's refined silver supply, giving it significant leverage over physical availability. So starting 2026, China's new export licensing rules could tighten global supply, further increasing its indirect influence on pricing. So maybe people in the silver market are scared about that.
Not
large,
really.
no?
Because it's been in position for a long time. So I'm just not swayed by people's ad hoc or sudden reactions to something that's been in place for a long time. You know what I mean? It's just laughable to me. Silver is something that is required. It's a requirement out there in the world's economy. Maybe they're trying to take away some kind of power or influence that silver producers have, like Mexico. A lot of Mexican silver. 24% of the world's supply is a lot. Just think about the big, 40,000 foot view and the game that they're playing. They wouldn't want anybody else to be powerful. They wouldn't want anybody else to have the influence. They want to be the ones to control. They're megalomaniacs. So they would spin a certain narrative, is all I'll say.
That's it. I mean,
be careful not to choke on it,
right? And they're controlling the price, but like you said, right? They, I'm putting up big time air quotes here, ladies and gentlemen. They control the price, and they quote have the silver, and then they quote, well, they have the contracts. We know that, right? So they have the contracts, and then they quote have the silver, and that's the game that I've been listening to this story, right? For a good 12. Maybe 15 years. That's what they're doing exactly, because the volume of paper silver contracts far exceeds the available physical silver. Period. End of statement. Right there. And that's the game that they play. And there's going to come a time sooner than later, which I think that's, we're on the doorstep of, that they can't keep doing this, right? They cannot continue to do it.
And that adds on to what Lisa discussed last week, where they're taking the sanctioned money and using it from Russia.
Mike, they've decided against it. So Europe have decided not to take Russia's money. They've done a loan, a collective loan to Zelensky. It's not as much as what he was expecting, but that's what they've done instead. So they finally decided against taking Russia's money, because it would affect, honestly, it would have such a negative impact on the euro and on the whole financial system and the trust and confidence that people have in it, that their money is safe, because it wouldn't be. But they've decided against it, which is interesting.
Well, I'm sure people started calling and started wanting to pull their money out once they heard that. So.
They did.
Yeah, so
Saudi Arabia, the whole of the UAE, even India, the BRICS countries, African countries, they all wanted to pull their money.
And rightfully so. And Mac, you had mentioned something that I was going to get to eventually at one point, and it's not a huge story as far as we're concerned. Let me get this. Max said, pull it up. Max said essentially that he ran into something. Oh, I had put it here somewhere. Yeah, guys, did you guys see this one? I think I put it in the Telegram before the show. Apparently, Anthony Joshua, the guy that broke Jake Paul's jaw, he was visiting his home country in Nigeria, and he was in a bad car accident. And it's not AI. You do have not to say that the Guardian makes it legitimate, but they said two of his closest friends, I'm guessing are these two, died in that crash, and he was in the back. And the weirdest part about this too, Lisa, for me was, I don't even know which one it was, but essentially they said that they hit a friggin' car that wasn't moving on the highway. And I'm like, wait, what the hell?
No, because they basically, they found out that they were speeding. Yes, and then they lost control of the car. That's what happened. They didn't say it this morning when it happened, but as the day went by and people asked more questions, like, well, how do you hit a stationary car? And it's like, because you were speeding and you lost control. That's what happened. They lost control. It was a Lexus, and there was another type of car, like some kind of four-wheel drive, following them.
Lexus SUV, yeah. And this is the part that I saw. The vehicle conveying, and I said that to my son. He liked the word conveying. Mr. Joshua, a Lexus SUV, was involved in the accident under the circumstances that are being currently investigated. And Joshua, seated in the rear of the vehicle, sustained minor injuries and receiving medical care attention with another injured person. And I, not to make light of somebody dying, but I thought it was like the biggest what's the word I used on that one? That they basically said they basically brought the survivors to a place with a very weird name that I thought where is it? All right, so the biggest oxymoron in this thing is they said they brought the deceased were brought to Live Well Hospital Morgue. Like, that's some weird ass names of hospitals or morgues in Africa. But prayers out to the family of those folks, and hopefully he's not too bad as well. But yeah, two people died in that car, and then he's out there. And he does not look to be in the best of health. Remember, 6'5", 6'6", 250-pound guy. That's probably what saved his life. That he's so big. And
his what I call fast twitching muscles. So his muscles are trained to react very quickly. So he would fare better in his muscles tensing up. I think he would fare better in an accident than I would.
Everyone on the right-hand side of the car died. Everyone on the left-hand side survived. So the car was coming in from the right-hand side, as you're looking at it from the back.
Ooh, I got a good comment and a good question from the chat there. Weeb Patriot 777 says, "I wonder if credit unions are safe, and rest in peace to the dead as well as their families." But the question about credit unions, I know historically they were always different, right? But I don't know that they're much different nowadays. And again, I'm not a banker, so I can't give you great info on that.
Generally, they should be safer because of the way that they operate, generally. I can remember a couple of years ago, when, what was it? The Silicon Valley Bank went down, and people say, "Oh, I'll take your money out of the banks and put it in a credit union," They don't operate the same way as the banks, and I don't think that I think their credit ratio might be better. That makes sense.
Yeah, they used to be protected a lot more or insulated, but I don't think that's the case anymore. Again, any bankers in there, drop the info.
Yes, this is big information.
I like this one. Big hat tip to my buddy Hulkinator, who actually dropped this out, and this guy kind of responded to him as well. And this is another one with the people in the comments like, "Oh, we keep hearing about this, but we don't see anything." And it's like, do you guys have any idea how much fraud these people were into? Like, any idea? So let me just make sure here. This one is, this one from yesterday. Wiener laptop reviews were due tomorrow. So remember, this is yesterday, so due today. As evidenced in this letter sent on December 15th from Chuck Grassley to Pam Bondi and Cash. Is an op being run elsewhere to distract from focus on this, you think? So remember, guys, this is the stuff. This is the Anthony Weiner laptop that was brought because he was sexting with an underage girl, sending pictures of his Anthony Weiner to her, apparently. And that's what kicked all this stuff off. And then they went in to grab all of his electronic devices. And well, wouldn't you know it, there was one laptop, well, there was a bunch of devices, but within one of the laptops and in one of the files in the laptops were a file named insurance. And guess what, guys? It wasn't Progressive or Geico. It was more along the line of political insurance. And, we can debate what was on there, but we can absolutely say with certainty from the Inspector General's report, going off memory, page 294, Clinton Foundation, Hillary Clinton and Foundation. Next line, crime against children. Crimes against children. So we know that was in there. And then we hear the allegations that most of the people, was it 9 of 12, or I don't know how many of the officers that supposedly looked at the information in this laptop were suicided, found dead, whatever the case may be. So this is huge, and it is coming. And remember, do you guys remember the date? I know it was the 18th last month that they were supposed to sit, or excuse me, we're still in December here. So Hillary was supposed to sit, I believe, on the 18th of December, and then Homer pushed it to January. So they will be testifying, and I'm wondering if this doesn't seem like it's coming out, like the information for this has to be coming out, and then she's going to be testifying next week, and I believe it's going to be, that part of it's unrelated to this, but they are related as well, if that makes sense. This is going to be huge, guys. So
in that document, if you scroll up a little bit, in brackets, FBI's Clinton Foundation investigation, and that's a footnote of 22. Can you look at the footnote? Darn it.
No, I have I had it somewhere. Okay, here we go. Here's Hulkinator's comment to the dude. It's interesting if submitted in your lawsuit at the tax court. Hopefully we get to the summit, Mount Everest of the corruption from the Clinton Foundation. I don't think we're there yet. He gives them a flag, the salute and weights of justice here. So here's Grassley's. You said it was 22. Let me see, 5. We got 5 there. 16. Yeah, it says ID at 35,82. So I don't know what that means exactly. Overview.
Usually at the back of the document it would have it, but I don't know.
Yeah, they were all like right here, idea, whatever. That doesn't really give me much, but this
look
is,
at
bad.
Q Post 4484. Take a look at that.
484. Boom. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Twitter Justice Department. Let's see if this status is still up. William Barr on the nomination of Jay Clayton to serve as U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Southern District of New York, or SDNY. Importance of that. Control. Jurisdiction. Wiener evidence collection. Clinton Foundation. Epstein evidence collection. I believe Maxwell too, no? Ukraine. Focus on above for now. Watch NYC. And then Southern District of New York News from back then. Jeffrey Berman, on announcement by Attorney General Barr. I learned as a press release that I was stepping down as U.S. Attorney. Have not resigned. Have no intention of resigning. That was Berman. I remember that one. There's the guard refusing to step down. POTUS refusal to formally nominate. Appointed to post by Southern District of New York judges. Unusual. Removal of acting. The stakes are high. They will fight. Super Bowl will look like a puppy show comparatively. So this is all about that whole area, right? And then we got Maureen Comey over there getting involved with the Epstein stuff. All these familiar names, guys, but this area is very, very important, and they did everything they could to cover as well.
And we're getting one additional Wiener evidence collection. So then now we'll be able to take that information and see how it unfolds into the other three. We know it does, but it obviously has been hidden from us for some time.
So much. There's so much that they were into with the Clinton Foundation. And remember, as soon as she lost that election to President Trump, those donations dried up quicker than something that dries up quick. Lisa, anything you wanted to add to this thing here?
No, I think you've covered it, really. You know, the guard refusing to step down, you know, the old guard refusing to step down. We know that the Southern District of New York, you know, they have a pretty good record. So if they're not charging people, then there's something going on. That Berman guy, he was made to step down. In fact, he was made to resign. I think he was just taken off the job and somebody else put in. And then from the moment that happened, that's when we got movement on Ghislaine Maxwell and other things.
That's not her accent, by the way. I love it. Ghislaine.
Yeah, that's purposely said, you know?
And here it was, guys. Benita Elliott posted this last September. Inspector General report, and this is a snapshot from Fox News. It says on top, 3 in parentheses, Wiener, SIC, I spelled incorrect or whatever, texting 15-year-old sexually explicit. And this is a copy right from the Inspector General's report, guys. Initial analysis of laptop, thousands emails. Yeah, how about hundreds of thousands? Hillary Clinton and Foundation, crime against children. Huh. Huge. Exposing them for the people that they are. Exposing them. It's been amazing to see some of the things we've seen, but in all cases, they always cover up. And did you notice too, Lisa, what you were just talking about how they were basically, what did they say, getting rid of the, right here, the acting, right? They're doing that now too, right? They just did it with the girl in the case in, what was it, New Jersey with Haba there, right? So they're still up to their old tricks, trying to keep all the people that can give President all the people that can give the Democrats problems.
It was a certain situation. It wasn't the same as this, you know.
No,
it wasn't the same. She was temporary, and then I think that the state has to appoint, or the state have a say, like some kind of committee on who is actually appointed. So I'd say it was a different situation.
Definitely.
Here, these people were in their jobs and acting as the backstop, you know, and stopping things from being investigated or brought to court.
Let's see. We're gonna shift a little bit here. Oh, where is this? Brandon and Liberal. Yeah. So I should have played this earlier. I just thought it was funny, but wait, when I clicked this one, a different thing came up. That's weird. So I'm not playing the whole thing, but listen to this, guys. You got hundreds of millions of dollars worth of fraud, right? I'll play like 20 seconds of this.
Few videos on here about the whole Nick Shirley thing. You know, the guy who was investigating fraud in Minnesota.
So this idiot's trying to make it look like he's out there like stalking kids. Oh, he needs to keep away from kids at all times. Like, nope. And that's what they, and look at this. 192,000 views, 195,000 views. And this is the crap fest that X has now turned into. It goes back, it goes forth, it goes all sorts of crazy things. We had our time. They nuked us, they brought us back a little bit, and now it's back to the bad guy side. Getting pretty amazing out there. I'm thinking about stopping posting there because it's pretty much pointless. Oh, dude, did you guys see the proof that I put the other day? I'm just an idiot, right? I make stuff up. Anybody seen anything like this before? Okay, here's my followers over time, guys. Remember how I tell you I gain and I lose? These are losses. These are gains. This is over a 3-month period, I think. 4-month period. Look, up, down, up, down, up, down. Always losing right here over the course of a year. So they're playing games over there, guys, big time. And their, what do you call it? Their customer service is pretty much non-existent. And I would say the only platform that you can actually get decent customer service on when you have an issue is Rumble. They're absolutely great. Look, here you go. Rumble, X support. Thank you, Jamie and 222 Watcher and Pissed Off American. They dropped comments, but no support. So Elon Musk, none of these people help, and they don't seem like they care at this point because it's absolute shart fest over there on X. We got this today too, guys. And I don't know how much you guys want to get into that other one with Alex Jones. But let's listen to this for a second because my spidey senses are going off a little bit.
Mary, good morning. Some answers here after a 5-year mystery for the first time. Prosecutors detailing the lengthy confession they say Brian Cole gave after his arrest earlier this month, allegedly admitting to placing those pipe bombs outside the RNC and DNC on January 6th. But the big question has always been why? Well, while he has not yet entered a plea, prosecutors say during his confession, Cole seemed to reference some of President Trump's false claims of fraud in the 2020 election, saying he felt, quote, like something was wrong, adding that people who felt that their votes are just being thrown away were being ignored by officials on both sides. Soon, Cole allegedly telling investigators, quote, something just snapped. According to the court filing, he allegedly said he wanted to do something to the parties because, quote, they were in charge. Still, Cole allegedly saying he isn't an openly political person. And
you know, he's not an openly political person, guys, but he took it upon himself to put in my opinion, fake bombs at the RNC and the DNC. He's so non-political that he got so pissed off about the alleged comments from President Trump or the comments from President Trump that he allegedly got so upset because, remember, he's not political, that he took it upon himself to lay 2 bombs out or things that look like bombs, right? That's what non-political people do. And then at first, too, it was like, oh, wait, he's a Trump supporter. Wait, no, he's not. He's this, he's that. I don't even know what to say about this crap fest at this point. But the thing I will say is we've known that the cell phone data guy, Tony Saruga, said that they knew who the guy was pretty much after it happened. And the DOJ, under air quotes, Biden, air quotes, did nothing. And then we get back here and then we get some answers. But Mac, anything you want to add on this case at all?
Just really, either this guy needs to go into a mental institution or there's something awry. You don't just know where the Democrat and Republican places are, and then go and pipe bomb. He might have been paid operative. I don't know, but like you said, it just it rose me incorrectly.
So non-political.
Yeah, come on.
I think you had dropped this one. I'm going to get your comment too, Lisa. I'm just going to add on to this right here. Whereas I think one of you guys dropped this one, and just like this, this lady's running for Republican in North Carolina. Good luck on that one. But Lisa, anything you wanted to add with the pipe bomber or our good Muslim Republican here?
No, I think they speak for themselves.
It's just wild. And people, ladies and gentlemen out there, if you have it in you, you have the time, go run for office. State Senate, state Congress, anything you can get involved in. Start low, go high, like sell low, buy low, sell high. I thought this was pretty interesting. Getting definitely older, so how many clicks it takes me to get to this? It's actually in my Telegram where one of the folks had dropped it. Where is it? Added, no. Come on. Yes. Okay. Open a Telegram. Why will it not do it? Oh God. I hate Telegram, guys. All right. So essentially it was Ted Nugent. For some reason I can't pull it up right now. But it is on my Telegram for some reason. You guys have any idea why I can't get this one up? Let's see. Ted. Add the link, guys. I swear I did. All right. I guess we're moving on to the next one then. Ted Nugent doesn't want to play, but he was basically praising RFK and saying, essentially, don't eat at McDonald's, don't eat at Burger King, don't eat at Chick-fil-A, don't eat at any of these places, that they're all poison, essentially. And thankfully that we have Robert F. Kennedy here, that he's going to start taking all the poisons out of the foods, which is a long time coming, guys. Same thing with the fluoride in the drinking water and any other chemicals that they put in. I don't think they should be adding any chemicals to the drinking water, period, other than to keep it clean, which then again, you shouldn't have chemicals in stuff that you're drinking. Let's see. So we also, a lot of this stuff going around. You know what, Mac? I'm gonna play that one that you dropped earlier, and we'll give the caveat after about the thing that we talked about. This I gotta get to this one too. But this one, no. Here we go. Let me pull this one up here because this was funny. And there's one part of it that's wrong, guys, so we'll just give you that caveat when it's done here. But it is a little funny comedy scene, and we always like to bring you a little bit of funnies as well. So here we go.
Erica Kirk knew Trump before she knew Charlie. She actually won Trump's Miss Arizona pageant. Her parents are both from military intelligence family. Her dad did Raytheon arms deals with Israel, probably unrelated. And Erica Kirk was part of running an orphanage in Romania where children went missing. Enough children for Romania to permanently ban the orphanage. And
that's the caveat part. I cannot get any good sauce. If you guys have any good sauce on the Romanian place being shut down for any good reason at all, the only thing that I get now is that it's not currently running still.
Permanently ban Erica Kirk. You know how f***ed up you gotta be to get banned in Romania? Andrew Tate is the mayor there. You really gotta push some boundaries. Mind you, this is when Epstein was still active, so I'll let you connect the dots. By the way, I'm not suicidal. For the record, I am quite happy, okay? You heard it here. But the weirdest thing about Erica Kirk, she met Charlie Kirk not on Christian Mingle. She went in to interview at his company, Turning Point USA. He said that he fell in love right away. Now, 4 years later, he's dead. And she has now inherited Turning Point USA. She's doing podcasts on it, too. Like, I'm so excited. Like, to my future wife, please wait 2 months after I die before doing a podcast. 3 months if it's my own. Come on. When you look at how fast she moved on, and then you look at how it started and how it ended, how it started was not romance. How it started was her going in for a job, and how it ended was her getting a promotion. So I'm just saying.
So yeah, the part about Romania, if you guys have anything that you can find on that one, please send it my way. But I have not been able to scoop up any of that. However, let's see here.
I
Did we get
just
it?
think he brings up a interesting point. How it just doesn't seem normal.
No,
The whole
definitely
situation. Yeah.
nothing. And you know, let's give the caveat too, Lisa, that just because it's not, you know, where there's no proof out there that the place was shut down, I'm not saying that she was trafficking kids, but I'm saying there's no proof either way that she was or was not that I can see anyway.
Okay, the orphanage was called, or the organization was called Romanian Angels. You might want to look it up.
Yeah. Indian Angel. Yes.
The Romanian charity.
Romanian Angels. No, yeah, that's what it was. But I mean, I tried to look for, shut down, whatever the case may be. But as we go into here, Project Constitution says TPUSA financial scandal explodes. Insiders are receiving kickbacks through another shell, 110 LLC. So this company, this channel here, Wolves in Finance, it says Smoking Gun, 110 LLC, aka 110 LLC, a quote marketing company with no office, no website that's searchable, no employees, just a UPS store mailbox in an Arizona strip mall. Yet TPUSA entities have sent $4.7 million to the mailbox since 21. Owned by Arizona State Senator Jake Hoffman, who lied claiming it's a decade-old company formed in 2021. Hoffman advertises TPUSA as sample client on his hidden site, 110.io, unchanged, whatever, unindexed by Google. But the real bombshell, TPUSA COO Tyler Boyer, runs multiple TPUSA shells, has a long history of side ventures with Hoffman, including a dissolved Arizona company with the same players. Boyer went from wage garnishment and debt lawsuits in 2017 to dropping $650,000 cash on a luxury mansion in 2021, months after 110 LLC launched, and started raking in millions from TPUSA linked campaigns. Coincidence? If TPUSA insiders like Boyer are partners of profit shares in 110 LLC, every dollar from donor-funded campaigns flowing through that mailbox could be kicked back straight to them. Election campaigns, Harry Lake Super PAC alone sent $2.3 million from a mystery donor, 110 LLC mailbox. Potential cuts to insiders. This is how shell companies work for money laundering and self-enrichment. Charlie Kirk's final memo, 8 days before his death, demanded a Doge-style audit and appointed a new COO, widely seen as moving against financial irregularities. And it says Erica Kirk ? Still refuses the audit Charlie wanted. No statements from CFO Justin Olson, the Arizona rep, or accounting. Only marketing guys like Andrew Colvett spinning. If everything's clean, why fight transparency? Donors deserve to know if their money built mansions instead of a movement. Demand the Doge audit now. So, little suspect is a little more than a little suspect, I would think, at this point. And is everybody out there still like, oh, I can't stand Candace for bringing this up? And I still, for the life of me, can't understand why people wouldn't want answers to a story that is clearly way the hell out in left field. Mac, anything you want to add to this absolute dumpster fire of a story? Because this is just, it's so wild. And dude, I had to search, and my buddy PW Oathkeeper may have, and I'll stress the word may, have sent me a video. I spent about 2 hours, maybe give or take a little bit of time earlier, looking for pictures of Erica Kirk pregnant. And when you go to look for her pregnant, it's like searching for Michelle Obama pregnant, right? And I did a sample search. I'm like, all right, Hillary Clinton pregnant. Boom, came right up. I did somebody else, another celebrity. Boom, came right up. Like all the pages on the first screen. You go to look for Erica Kirk, nothing. You go to look for Michelle Obama, nothing. But like I said, really weird snippets that they were releasing. I don't know. There's no widely spread pictures of her pregnant that I've seen.
I don't know if this is good news, but the judge ruled that the murder trial of Charlie Kirk will be televised or public, whatever that means. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That is wild.
So I don't know. There's a lot of shady stuff that we've talked about and behind charities and nonprofits and stuff. So maybe I don't know. This is possible. It just keeps getting deeper. I think an audit would be something that she wouldn't have a problem with unless they're like Demi Moore and Landman, and she comes into a complete mess. So I don't know. Yeah.
I never got to that point. I got to the point where he just died. So he just had the heart attack for me. So I don't know how Demi Moore handles that. We'll see. But there's even more to it. At least I don't know if you wanted to add any more, but I do have even more to add to it here. Justin Streif, COO, Charlie Kirk enlisted to Doge TPUSA via internal memo shown by Real Candace O. His father, Eric Streif, a senior strategy advisor at American Philanthropic, AmPhil, having joined the firm in 2019 for fundraising services. TPUSA paid them $107,000, $260,000, and then $880,000. So lots of money. The total of over $2 million highlights the magnitude of the financial conflict of interest related to Justin Streif, COO. Huge money laundering front for them. Yeah, and just think about it, guys. Right, with all of the new branches that they want to set up, that's like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. More. We get more branches. We got more money coming in. But yeah, I'm still not happy with.
Now, is there
results.
a huge Freemason connection between Turning Point, or is that just the conspiracy theory?
Not sure.
Have you all heard that?
Not sure. What you mean?
Isn't it?
Lisa?
I was just going to say, as an aside, the British police force have decided that they need to say if they're a Freemason.
Really?
For the first time. Yes? They're having to admit whether they are a membership of a Freemason organization. And the reason being, there was a case that they investigated some years ago, and it turns out the investigation was botched, and the people involved in it were actually Freemasons. So they can't say for sure that, like, say, their oath to their brotherhood affected these people's actions, but it has resulted in anybody joining the British police has to confirm if they're a Freemason or not. And so the Grand Lodge, run by the Queen's cousin, I think he's the Duke of Kent, who's been like basically the leader of the Freemasons for over 50 odd years, he's lodged a complaint and saying that it's as if they're singling people out, but it's not. Not as far as I'm concerned. It's like if the organization that you're a member of and you swear an allegiance to your brothers first and foremost, as in other members of the organization, rather than doing your job, it's a problem.
Big time.
Yeah.
Can't they lie too? I believe. Can't they lie? Or is that just wait? I'm wondering if that's the Quran. I know they can lie. And Jewish folks, I think, can lie to us goys as well. But I don't know about Freemasons. But seek injunction. So the Freemasons are seeking injunctions against the Met policy requiring officers to declare their membership. So who was the one that actually organization accuses Sir Mark Rowley of religious discrimination and whipping up conspiracy theories?
It's not a religion, though, is it?
Right? Is it supposed to be like a lodge, right? Like a brotherhood, or
yeah? So it's not registered as a religion as such, or recognized as a religion. It's just like a secret society. But that's the issue,
it's considered a fraternal organization, like a frat.
Yes, but not a religious one. And that's what you know. But I think that what they're trying to do is use their clout, you know. So it's somebody big like the Duke of Kent or whatever his royal title is, who's like the Grand Master, and has been in that position for decades, you know. And he's saying it's discrimination, and it's like, well, not if it interferes with investigations and police being able to do their job.
That's wild, but you don't want people in secret organizations or whatever. But that's wild that it made this much, that it got to this point, because you would think that somebody would bring it up and the other people would poo-poo it down, and it wouldn't get this far.
There is some kind of hold, but they're still being asked to confess whether they have membership or not, and that's what the Freemasons have a problem with, you know.
Oh yeah.
So even though their complaint is being acknowledged, they're still having to make their declaration.
Ooh, so it looks like maybe not even just Freemasonship. It says the Met said anyone who was part of or had been a member of a hierarchical organization that requires members to support and protect each other must declare it.
Yeah, there you go. And I think that's a good thing, because if you're putting something else, if you sign up for the job, you know what the job's about, and if you're putting your buddies before solving crime or arresting criminals, then you're not doing your job.
Absolutely.
How can you?
Right there. I mean, we might have our answer right in front of us, Lisa. It says, the force says a survey of its officers and staff show that 2/3 backed the restriction because it affects public perception of police impartiality. So can we do simple math and say that 1/3 of them are Freemasons, essentially? You would think only the people that are would basically, give pushback to it. You would think. And did you guys see this earlier too? I almost clicked on it, but body of triathlete apparently killed by a shark found on a California beach. Hey.
Yeah, I saw that. And apparently that person is part of a group of athletes that wear a shark tag bracelet that's supposed to ward off sharks. But they do swim in the sea where there's sharks. Yes.
Oh god.
So. And somebody said that they saw a shark carrying a body.
Guess that bracelet doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's 99% effective.
He didn't, use the old poke it in the eye, like the Three Stooges. All you gotta do is hit him in the fin quick. That's it. It's like, yeah, tell that to somebody who has no idea a shark's coming, and then all of a sudden gets plowed out of nowhere. But yeah, that's crazy. Part of a group of more than a dozen swimmers who left from Lover's Point near Monterey on the 21st of December, but she never returned to shore. I keep every time I say it in my New England accent, I feel like I want to correct it. So back to shore. A witness driving by the area reported to authorities that they saw a shark with what appeared to be a human body in its mouth emerge from the water. Oh my God, just like you said, Mac, that's crazy. Yeah, you're not gonna find me doing that, dude. I go to the beach in the water, and I'm going up to like my waist, and then I'm falling down to where my head can get wet. I don't like going out into the part of the ocean where I can't see what's going on. Too much crazy stuff going on out there for me. So, and dude, how about the people that go out to like off the coast of South Africa to like purposely swim with the sharks? It's like, the hell are you people, morons or what? Oh God!
Don't be the guy in California who's got an unwelcome huge bear living in the space below his house, and the authorities aren't getting rid of it, and he's not allowed to bait the bear either.
Oh God! I don't know. This story was real. Did you hear the story about the guy? The guy was apparently it says it's not AI, but apparently a guy was like, on one of these things in Africa or something, and he was like on a hammock, and he was woken up by a friggin' lion licking his face. Like, you're lucky to be alive if that's the case. If it's real, I mean, I don't know.
Sounds like one of those AI videos.
Dude, there's so many of them now too.
I can't stand them.
Yeah, they need to. And you know what the worst part about it is? They're doing it all over the place on YouTube too. And there's actually a setting for it where they is there anybody in here that's like is made to look like they're saying something that they're not? So like that's a category which they allow you to do it now too. So all right.
Hey, Beisha, do you have the Supreme Court ruling on Trump not being able to send in the National Guard to Chicago or Illinois?
We covered it the other day, so if you have a link, I'll definitely click on it because I have some interesting stuff to say about that too.
Yeah, like it opens up some stuff. Here, give me a second. I'll find the article.
Because yeah, they said they had to use regular forces. And guess what regular forces are? The regular military. Right here. Can't wait to see armored divisions parked outside the ICE facility. All right, I got something here, Mac. We can use this. Yeah, me and Hulk, I think we touched on it last Saturday. This last one here. Pop this up here really quick. So here. This was, let's see what the main one. Significant loss. So Kyle Cheney is out here putting this as a significant loss for the Trump administration. But apparently he's not seeing exactly what we are seeing. For the loss administration, which rules that Trump lacked authority to federalize and deploy the National Guard. Let's take a look at that here really quickly, shall we? Laws except in cases and under circumstances expressly authorized by the Constitution or Act of Congress. So before the president can federalize the Guard under 124063, he likely must have statutory or constitutional authority to execute the laws with the regular military and must be unable with those forces to perform that function. At this preliminary stage, the government has failed to identify a source of authority that would allow the military to execute the laws in Illinois. And then we go down to this guy here. Can't wait to see armored divisions right here. So, as I read, the court's opinion does not address the president's authority under the Insurrection Act. Moreover, the court's opinion does not address or purport to disturb the president's long-asserted Article II authority to use U.S. military as distinct from the National Guard to protect federal personnel and property and thereby ensure the execution of federal laws. Here we go. As Professor Goldsmith has succinctly explained, quote, the protective power is the president's inherent or independent Article II power to protect federal personnel, property, and functions. The key point is that the president can assert the protective power without reliance on Section 12406. He can deploy regular armed forces without any need to federalize the Guard. Presidents often have. Jay Goldsmith, President Trump holds the legal cards on the use of the military in the domestic sphere. Executive functions, October 8th, 2025. One apparent ramification of the court's opinion is that it could cause the president to use the U.S. military more than the National Guard to protect federal personnel and property in the United States. I call that a kaboom, but they're looking at it a different way than I am. But Mac, since you had brought it up, let's go to you first on that one. Any comments there?
You covered everything that I was hoping you would. So this is great. I mean, he's getting the courts to be very clear on what he can and cannot do in doing this. And so, like, afterwards, they can't sue him or, do whatever. Have a coup, military coup, something like that. So I think he's thinking, obviously ahead of the game, but he's also leading us through this to show that what he will have to do in the end.
And they're doing it nice and long and drawn out as well. Lisa, U.S. government branches infiltrated by deep state obstructionist, executive branch, legislative branch, judicial branch, remaining options for upholding the U.S. Constitution and ensuring federal crimes are prosecuted? Military is the only way. It's kind of funny, Lisa, right? It's like, be careful what you wish for type of situation going on there.
Yeah, well, they asked for it. they ask for qualification, and they're getting it. And for me, it's just like a further extension when they questioned presidential power. When was that? Not last year. Was it the year before, or was it last year?
Which one?
So it's when they first questioned, the president's immunity and all of that. The presidential power or authority was talked about a lot in detail by the chief justices, who said there are lots of onion layers, and it seems that area is being, I don't know, investigated further. Let's say, to put it in simple terms. Like they questioned everything about what the president could and couldn't do, what authority he actually has, and I think the Supreme Court told them back then. I think it was around the time or just before Butler, just before or after the Butler assassination attempt.
Yeah, it was definitely this year for sure.
It was somewhere around there, and I think they know the answer, but I think they're just giving it a go.
It also seems like he's setting precedent so that when future things come up, it can be addressed. This is definitely because we are in a unique type of war right now. So I think a lot of this is gathering all the legal means in order to do the storm, what I guess you would call it.
I'm loving it. I mean, it's one of these things, right? It's like, oh, no, you can't have the National Guard here. You got to try the regular military first. All right, finally we got there. That's what we've been waiting for, right? And so all this stuff is, you got to kind of take a step back, right, and look at all this stuff, how it's kind of like, oh, wait, we got Epstein stuff. And remember, guys, we got another 1 million or so documents coming from the Epstein case as well, right? We got the Clintons and all these other people about to be sat. Oh, and I forgot, I almost forgot to bring up what you dropped earlier about the 2 things down south, which I think did we do that last week? Right here. This one right here. So, United States District Court, Southern District of Florida. This one right here. Wait, this is an older one, no? All right, yeah. So they fixed the date. All right, so they set this one out in September, and the grand juries here were going to be 2 of them in Florida. So basically, the long story short is you got people like the Clintons and all these other people from Crossfire Hurricane, Brennan, whatever, being going to be testifying. Bill Clinton as well. You got all this fraud coming out. You got 2020 election stuff coming out. You got him over there blowing things out of the sky or out of the ports in Venezuela as well. So a lot of things seem to be kind of jiving at the same time, coming back into focus, which I'm very, very happy about. So I don't know if you got anything to add to that, MaQaveli, Mr. Curly there. And this, guys, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you guys want to do about this, but I'll just read a little bit of it. We could play a little if you guys want. But I did think there was an interesting part in here where he was talking about Susie Wiles. And so, again, not 2 of my most favorite folks out there. What do you think?
I've been paying attention to Patrick Byrne just because he was in the thick of it. You got to take a lot what he says with a grain of salt. But he's throwing people kind of under the bus. He's talking because he's all over the place. Right. And I just can't stand Alex Jones and them. They're operatives. They're the people that want to like shake the waves and look at me kind of people, and it's really annoying. And a lot of the stuff that they say never comes true. It used to like have some validity, but now it's all over the place. And as we talked about last week, Patrick Burns is backtracking a lot. So,
well, now he's working with the CIA. Now he's working with the CIA. Yeah. Well, he has worked with the CIA in addition to what he said he was working with the FBI as well. But he actually says right here, he says, then Susie Wiles was a hero and rebuffed that man's attempt at influence and came around saying maybe I was wrong about the 2020 election, that it may have been stolen. And I'm thinking, I don't even know, if she's of that mindset that maybe it might have been stolen and she's the chief of staff for Trump, like that doesn't make too much sense to me, right? Like, because clearly it was stolen. They have the proof of it. So, and that's what he's kind of going off on now.
It depends, this was 2020. She wasn't always an operative within the administration. Remember, she had her own job. So maybe she wasn't as involved as what she is now. And that's maybe normal for a lot of people.
Yeah. And so some people are saying that she's blocking things, and then other people say, even President Trump's old attorney friend Peter Tickton is saying that Todd Blanche is the one, and this is what this guy says here. He says this, and actually, just to reiterate just what he says, so that way you guys can kind of cover what he's saying in the future. This is Mike Pence right here with this guy named Raul Gorin. He says the type of guy that would hack somebody up and send the photos to their mother. He then shows a photo of Mike Pence with that guy and says Brennan is still running the CIA, essentially. Says he was recruited into the CIA under Brennan Obama, and then what we talked about Susie Wiles.
I'm for me, it's just I would ignore it because it's designed to get your attention, and it's also designed to deflect from his particular role. So he's putting the blame on Obama and Brennan. It's like, yeah, maybe you were recruited under Obama and Brennan, but you were recruited. You did the job. You took the job. Do you see what I mean? It's just a distraction for me. Yeah, it's like it's telling you a story so that you look over here and not at me. It's everybody else's fault.
Look here, not there.
He played a role. He's admitted to it. What more is there what more is there? Except for the things that we know he's done and been involved in. He has actually targeted people himself by his own volition.
And
like somebody with the name, Intelligent. Post number 4. Right? I'm giving you a hint.
Linwood.
Absolutely. So all I'm saying is this guy is an operative. He's been a paid operative, and he is an operative. So this is an operative telling you stuff. Is he really telling you stuff? What is really
he still
going
operating?
On? Has he stopped operating? Well, I don't think so. And like say, if your time's up, and you're trying to get a lighter sentence, this is the type of thing that you do. You kind of point the finger at everybody else, like they were worse than you. And it's like, you're just as bad.
My BS detector is from day one has gone off about him for sure. And this was 6 days ago, not 7. So I don't think we covered it. But John Brennan has a 17-page motion from his attorney last week. They're claiming Trump is judge farming in Florida, and poor me. Sucks the shoes on the other foot now, right? I just noted that he's in my top 5 of people that I want to see perp walked and worse. But yeah, 17-page, and guess what? Well, if you morons didn't go in to Mar-a-Lago, then maybe you wouldn't have this problem. Huh? Maybe?
But the thing is, it's not a problem because Trump is, like in the cases that were, in Florida, they weren't judges that he picked, if you remember. I don't think so.
Sorry, could you repeat that, Lisa?
I think that Brennan's using the same tactic as Patrick Byrne. Look over here, not over there. It's like, Brennan, you've been caught. Yeah,
Lisa,
that's it.
What you just said is like how I kind of pick out who's questionable and who's not. So that's a very good way to put it.
Yeah, they're just making up excuses. You know, there wasn't a problem with the court system and the way that it works when they were raiding Mar-a-Lago, was there? You know, there's never been a problem up until now, until Brennan's in the hot seat.
Funny how that works.
You know, and you get what you give them, kind of thing. You know, the cases that the charges that they leveled at Trump. You know, he didn't always get a judge that was on his side or whatever. But Florida, you know, all of Florida's like Republican, and the judges, they do that. Apparently, judges do their job. You know, they're not partisan. They just exact the law, supposedly. You know, but it's interesting that he has a problem with it right now when he's in the hot seat.
It's only when the shoe is turned to the other foot is when you have that issue. You know, sorry.
Yes. So he's basically saying the whole of the court system and the people in it are bad. No, your people are bad.
Yeah, like Trump's trying to probably find a judge that's not corrupt, that's not going to be swayed by Brennan and his.
Well, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We just don't know.
No, I know, but that's
you see what I mean? So why go along with it until we actually know? You know, because what they're really saying is that Trump's playing their lawfare game that they played. Is he really? Do we have any evidence of that? I don't think we do right now. You know, the case is going to be tried in Florida. That's it. Where did you say that grand jury was, Mike? In Florida? Was it in Florida? The one being convened?
Yep.
In January?
I didn't say.
Yes, it is. Yep. It's in
Florida.
I think they said
So this is his problem. You know, this is what he's trying to combat. Possibly.
Well, so there's some areas in Florida that are very liberal. Miami-Dade County, for one, has been notoriously liberal, but it is also very corrupt because we know what's in Miami. We've all seen Cocaine Cowboys, the movie, and all those skyscrapers are built off of the cocaine market. So I would think that Trump is trying to find a judge that's, you know, impartial. And Brennan's complaining because they all have judges that they want that probably would be partial to them, and that's how the deep state works. You know,
well, for me, it's because
they don't get
he's
their
not
one.
picking the judge. Maybe he's not picking the judge, but I'm not sure I have enough information to say that Trump is going around trying to find the right judge. I don't know where that information is.
Yeah, no, they're trying to say that he wants Eileen Cannon. That's what they're trying to say. That they, you know, basically they're shopping for judges. Essentially, it's like no.
Yeah, they're politically making this political to get a judge that they want. You know, that kind of spin.
Yeah. And it is a spin because there's no evidence of it.
Oh wow!
Do we know what judge is actually going to preside over it? No, we don't. But then again, do they have anything against Eileen Cannon? She didn't always rule in Trump's favor, if I remember rightly. You know, not with absolutely everything.
No, only when it counted.
but she made the right decisions at the right time.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely did.
That's a judge. That's what they're supposed to do. You know, according to the law. So I just think he's spinning this.
Yeah, and you guys want to see something
a lot
crazy?
Of people, a lot of people are sat on that. You know, they're like a spinning plate at the moment because they don't know what to do because they're caught. There's evidence, and they're having to deal with that, and they can't get ahead of the game, but they're trying, and they'll keep trying. Remember what did that Cupo say about they'll fight or whatever? And it's like, yeah, of course they are. But for me, I just don't listen to any of that. That's all like just noise coming from these people. Just noise. It's like, just give me the court date, you know? Televise it. Thank you very much. That's my entertainment.
Oh, I love it. You're gonna find something very interesting here, guys. Asking Brock a question so I can verify that. Hopefully, I'll get an answer for it by the time we get to it. But so this one, guys, this is interesting, and I think this is current. So Bill Binney, guys, right? They were asking who's Bill Binney. 384, 385 is the next one. Alabama election was stolen. I have no doubt you're going to fix that one too. Okay, next one. Move on to the next one. 386. Asking about Bill Binney again here. Bill Binney. Bill Binney. Whistleblower, truther, hero. What is he? Patriot of the highest caliber. And if you guys remember what his deal was, is he was the NSA guy who basically verified that the information that we were getting about there being a DNC hack was actually BS. So pulling this one, oh, here we go, pulling this one up here. Right here, this is current right here. So I asked Grok to let me know when this was filmed. So here we go. It's not Ants, and that's LaRouche Pack, but he's here talking about this again here, and says former technical director at the NSA, Bill Binney, explains in detail how he was able to confirm that and it's a 7-minute video, that's why I'm not going to play it right now, that the DNC email hack did not come from the Russians, but from inside the DNC itself, aka Seth Rich. The conclusion shows that the odds that came from outside the DNC would be greater than 1 chance in 2 to the 500th power. 1 in 10,0. That's 1 with 150 zeros behind it, and that's still greater than that. This is why Seth Rich's conclusion holds massive weight, and ultimately why he was murdered in a plot made to look like a robbery, even though nothing was stolen. And then I also saw down here, you guys remember this one? Where he was being, was this Swiss TV or something? He's basically came out and said, Seth Rich was my informant, without saying Seth Rich was my informant. You guys remember this one? Get a couple minutes here. We'll see how long he takes to get into it.
Donald Trump has had a disastrous few weeks. If you look at the polls, he needs a miracle. In the American political lexicon, there's such a thing as the October surprise. The stuff that you're sitting on, is an October surprise in there? Do you even know what you're sitting on?
WikiLeaks never sits on material. Whistleblowers go to significant efforts to get us material, and often very significant risks. There's a 27-year-old works for the DNC who was shot in the back, murdered just 2 weeks ago for unknown reasons as he was walking down the street in Washington. So
that was just a robbery, I believe, wasn't it?
No, there's no finding. So
what are you suggesting? What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that our sources take risks, and they become concerned to see things occurring like that.
But was he one of your sources then? I mean,
we don't comment on who our sources are.
Why make the suggestion about?
Do you guys notice that little? I remember seeing this like a couple years ago. Notice as he's being asked the question, was he one of your sources? Notice his head nod.
Like that.
But was he one of your sources then? I mean,
we don't comment on who our sources are.
But why make the suggestion?
So yeah, it was this back and forth, right? About essentially like, why are you bringing this guy up at all? Like, if whatever. So Grok did get back to me, said that clip right there was actually from Bill Binney in 2017, and how they basically said they checked it is because they checked the speed of the upload, which they said there's no way possible it went like overseas or whatever. It had to be a person at the actual machine doing it. Excuse me. But I got a question for you. I think I went with Lisa last time first, but I'll go for you, Mac. Where's this guy? What's this guy up to? I haven't seen one peep out of this guy.
A great question. Yeah, I don't know. I've wondered that for just recently. Always when it comes, I think, to March or June, weren't we in the Q posts?
June ETA, right?
Something like that, yeah. But he's always still in the background. The WikiLeaks are very important, so I'm thinking maybe the Wiener laptop, or wasn't the Wiener laptop and WikiLeaks intertwined almost?
Well, if you remember during the drops, And which is interesting because, all right, so this is just an AI overview, take it what it's worth. He's currently back in Australia as a free man after striking a plea deal with the U.S., da-da-da-da. So it's saying that he's basically in Australia, back to Australia. And so you were asking about this, and the only thing I remember about the quote was, we have the source, I think. It said something like, you have the site, but we have the source. And I'm
meaning the server.
Yeah, like they had, so basically at a point, people, WikiLeaks was putting out a lot of stuff, and everybody's like, yeah, it's kind of BS. But this was while Julian was, quote, away, right? He was in the embassy or whatever. Do you believe in coincidences? Cohen, WikiLeaks says Senate panel requested Assange testimony in Russia probe. Do you believe in coincidences? We have the source. And I'm pretty sure this was when he was, this is what, 2018. He was in one of the embassies, right? And so what does that mean? Does that mean he was never, really in these embassies, and he was basically helping the white hats the whole way? That's very much a possibility as far as I'm concerned. But it says basically, when you can't attack the information directly, you attack the source. If it fails, you create false, misleading information to discredit knowing, select, unaware followers would not take the time to self-corroborate the claim. Same vehicle of tactic used by fake news media. Logical thinking wins, always wins. Nothing can stop what is coming. As the targets turn to the other side, the attacks will intensify. We have the source. So, yeah, there it is. I knew it was there. Desperate agencies do stupid things. Dead cat bounce. You may have the site, but we have the source. And this is them posting, I don't know what they posted back then. Why is QAnon leading anti-establishment Trump voters to embrace regime change and neoconservatism? Oh, so it's interesting. All this Crossfire Hurricane stuff is coming back into the light. We are past 9 o'clock, guys. Are there any? I'm sure there are. There's many things we didn't get to touch on, but anything that we wanted to cover that we didn't? Anything that you guys wanted to discuss that we have not?
Yeah, maybe there needs to be a reinvestigation of that Democrat. I don't know if she's a Democrat senator or congresswoman, whatever you call it, from Minnesota, who was pushing for there to be an investigation into things like fraud and the food program, and then she was dead.
Oh, yeah, yeah, right here. Let me pull this one up too, and let me know in the chat, guys. Do you think that this woman? Because I sure do, and you're free to disagree with me, but I think she knew it was coming after this, especially after this statement she made after the vote.
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision. I know that people.
She doesn't look like she's just kind of upset that her team didn't win the game or her kid didn't get an A+ in class. That looks like fear to me.
Mm-hmm.
Genuine fear. And remember, wasn't the guy dressed up like a fake cop, or he dressed up like a cop and knocked on her door and killed her?
Something like that.
Yep. And this
maybe. But I think that there needs to be a reinvestigation here, because I think she was the only one. I think she was the only one to stick up for there being some form of investigation.
Well, yeah, she didn't want the fraud. She didn't want essentially benefits going to illegals, essentially, or is it healthcare one? Yeah.
But she's the only one to stand up. And then she was dead.
After no to giving healthcare to illegal aliens, Melissa was assassinated this morning, and it's heartbreaking. Absolutely true. Yeah. And it should be, and these are things that, again, you got that whole corrupt area. It's like, who's going to prosecute in Minnesota? You might have to do something a little bit more deliberate or national, perhaps. I don't know. But I don't know that I don't know if the federal government could step in on that, because it's a murder in a state and it's not anything. Well, would that become through federal funding? You would think, right? Some of that would be federal funding from the healthcare that would be given to the illegal. or would have been. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't have much trust in the people from Minnesota or the people running Minnesota to do the right thing over there. But
Well,
that's crazy.
if the crime extends outside the state, it's a federal investigation.
Yeah, and
All the money.
remember Michelle Bachmann? Boy, was she right. Oh God, do you guys remember how she was basically warning of all these different things in Congress and stuff like that, and saying, and they basically called, they called her a racist essentially about all the Muslim stuff or Muslim Brotherhood. This is going back to what? I'm not even sure what year it was. Wow, it's so old. It's not even coming up on a simple quick search on like X. You guys remember Michelle Bach? And I think she's in the drops as well. Bach, B-A-C. Oh, well, look what comes up when you bring up Bachmann. Al-Assad. Bachmann defends her witch hunt. You guys remember this stuff? Rep. Michelle Bachmann defended her attempt to root out deep penetration by the Muslim Brotherhood into the U.S. government Friday, writing a 16-page letter explaining and expanding her initial charges against Huma Abedin. If you guys don't recall from the very beginning of the show, we were talking about the Anthony Weiner laptop, and that was her ex-husband that she's now remarried to Soros's kid. You can't make this stuff up. And she laid charges against Huma Abedin and others being terrorist sympathizers. Bachmann's letter came in response to a challenge from a fellow Minnesota and Muslim, I believe, lawmaker Keith Ellison, a Democrat who was the first Muslim elected to Congress. Ellison last week asked Bachmann for evidence to support a series of letters the Republicans sent to 5 national security agencies demanding investigations into alleged Muslim Brotherhood infiltration in their ranks. All connected. Welcome back, Huma. Now comes the pain. Interesting, right? There's nothing on there about Huma, except for, Huma Abedin's ties to the Muslim Brotherhood. You guys remember, was her mother, I think, was like one of the main women over there? So yeah, lots of crazy stuff, guys, that has been exposed over these last many years, and not many people have seen any ramifications for such. And you're going to have an audience of not only you guys listening, but me too, being really pissed off if we don't start to see some of this stuff come to fruition in the next couple of months, which I highly expect to happen, because midterms is going to be, you know what I mean? Midterms is going to be the case cracker for me.
That's like the deadline.
Yeah, for everything. So you need to see some serious happenings and movings about before midterms to ensure that they're not going to basically try to steal another election. But
we need to fix the elections. That's what we need to do before midterms. That's like a huge must.
Yeah, and I saw some rumblings, somebody talking about him possibly writing an executive order for no more voting machines. So that would be a good thing. But I fully expect some big time action to be happening, maybe even in these next couple of weeks after we get into January.
Haven't the Dems called for no more voting machines since Republican took over the company? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
a few months ago.
Yeah, and before that, Lisa, remember, before Trump even ran for presidency, you had multiple Democrats saying, "Oh, these things can be hacked like crazy." Right, and then then you had Obama. The idea that you could even hack one of these, or you could even, steal an election, is just ridiculous. Like, really? I don't know about that. All right, I think it's time we can wrap it up for the day. And
can you just see Trump having an executive order and then having like a machine there and a guy hacking into it right in front of the press, and it just be a field day? No, but he'd do it again.
Yeah, I mean, and you even had
Johann Pulitzer, whatever his name is.
Yeah, no, you definitely had that, but you also had other congressmen and women that were basically showing at some trade show, or here's 2020, how easy it is to gain admin access to voting machines to tamper with the settings. So this person can do it, and then there was a thing where there was like it was like a tech thing, and you had some Congress. I can't remember the Congresswoman, but she was like, "Look, we're here, and these guys can get into it in like 30 seconds." So yeah, it's clearly known that they can do this stuff. They can do the fraud, and the machines need to go. And the worst, the insult to injury on top of it is they pay like hundreds of millions of dollars for these machines. Probably billions cross country is my guess. So yeah, we'll see. And what do we got, guys? We got tomorrow, and then the next day, and then it's 2026. You guys putting out your New Year's resolutions and things that you're going to try to stick to for 3 or 4 days and then quit? Just busting. But yeah, let's see. So thanks bunches, Space Shot, Mac and Lisa, Marvy, and Marvelous Mods over there. Gigi working it. Thank you for that very nice comment. Let me say goodbye to the folks over here on D Live, and then I'll head over to Foxhole-ish, my channel. And thank you to Crow Deck and P Dancer and Susie Q over there on D Live are the top 3 contributors. I'm dropping 50 diamonds into the bucket that has 10. So you should be getting 60.3 out. Let's see. Yep, 60.3 coming back at you guys in 26, 25, and counting. So I let them know that it's actually coming because I count it. And then over on the... Thank you again to Red Pill for earlier rating, if you happen to be still listening over there. Thank you to Lori P gifting the phone, says love your shows. I appreciate you guys tuning in, so thank you, Lori P. And then One Thunder gifted the can, no message, but thank you, One Thunder. And then Sean Joe follows up with 2 cookies, num 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 num, and thank you very much. And I'm releasing the scratch offs, and I had every intention, and I'm so sorry guys, I had every intention of doing a show on Thursday, and you're gonna laugh at this. I played video games super late with Hulk, and sometime around 3:30 in the morning or something, I air quotes set my alarm clock, but I didn't set my alarm clock. I set the time, not the alarm clock. So it was basically about a half a day off in timing for my alarm, and I pretty much slept right until showtime, which would not have made for a good show. So I don't ever want to do that to you guys out there. So we do thank you guys for hanging out with us on these wonderful Mondays. And the New Year's are coming. Miss Lisa, New Year's coming. Final thoughts and anything on the way out of here.
I'm watching the situation again, still. Russia and the Ukraine. Zelensky is denying that he attacked one of Putin's residences. That's an important move, because it upsets the stability of war, if that makes sense. So he did it more recently. I think it was 90 drones or something like that. But all of them were destroyed. Because like I said, I think I said it last week, maybe it was privately, that, Russia now have experience in dealing with modern day warfare.
Oh, yeah.
So no, they've already got the laser systems, but they're not testing them out in the field. They're not doing just normal tests. They are already out in the field, Everybody else is testing. They're doing they go from, the factory straight out onto the field. So they were able to destroy all of them. And I think it was last night or something, or this morning. So it seems like potentially the Ukraine, their masters, Europe, are trying to disrupt the talks right now. Yeah. That's what I see. But I'm interested to see what happens now. Let's see. And Zelensky's calling for a referendum. Remember, he's been avoiding elections and saying that he can't vote and all of that. And now he wants a referendum on these current peace talks, bearing in mind that he went and sat with Macron, Starmer, I think the German, whoever's in charge of Germany, so his advisors, and it's obvious a decision has been made. They don't want peace.
No, what they need to do is tell him, and I would have done this like a year ago. I would have said, buddy, here's the deal. You're making a deal with Russia as it is. The land that you lost, it's gone. Say goodbye. You're not getting it back. Make a deal, and guess what? If you don't, we're out of the picture. We're putting our hands up. We're going to let them level the crap out of you. Have a nice day. Now what say you? You know what I mean? So just we're out of it. And same thing I would have done with Israel as well. You don't need to be funding these countries that make crazy money themselves. So yeah, it's getting wild out there. This never-ending thing in Afghanistan, yeah, and in Ukraine and Russia. But Mr. Maxer, final parting words.
Great show. Thanks everyone that tunes in. I guess they did confirm the past week that Fulton County votes, 315,000 ballots were counted without the poll workers' signatures. So that's that confidential secret phone call that Trump had to the governor. I think they actually recorded it, where he was asking for a certain amount of votes, and he said Fulton County was corrupt, and he can get it from there. It was absolutely correct.
Boom.
So this is all President Trump was right about everything kind of theme.
And wasn't Fulton County in 2020? Didn't they suddenly find like 4,000 or 5,000 votes weren't counted? I seem to remember that they admitted to that. I think they might have denied it at first, but then they admitted to it publicly.
Was Fulton County the stadium where they were printing off they had the camera set up?
Oh, when they pulled the stuff from underneath, I believe so. Yeah, right.
I think it was.
Yeah, Ruby Freeman.
And did they have the fake flood too? Then
yeah, the water main break was a toilet leak.
Yeah.
There's nothing. And dude, you can actually show that to certain people. Like I've told you guys in the past that I've been trying to work on some of my coworkers or ex-coworkers now. And you show them stuff like that, and it's just like in one ear and out the other. Yeah, but Trump and Epstein, it's like, but you don't put any validity into anything. So some people are just so far gone, and I'm telling you guys, that 4 to 6% of the country that's too far gone that Q talks about, in my opinion, it's probably more like 10 to 15, maybe 20, because there's some serious, and maybe they're bots, I don't know, but there's a lot of people that just are not getting the real memo out there. Mac, I don't know, Mac, did you need to finish your thought? Are you good, sir?
No, that's about it. Since we got to wrap up the show, but yeah. Until next week, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes, we will see you guys back.
Oh,
get my trusty calendar here. Go ahead, buddy.
Did find a website that is a graphical interactive network of all the Epstein connections and documents.
Oh,
right
I just saw that. Yeah, I just saw that a little while ago. I was literally passing by that on Twitter a little while ago, and I didn't actually click on it. Just Epstein secrets. Yeah, see, I don't this stuff, dude. I don't like this stuff when it starts doing this stuff on me. I don't know what it's loading or what it's doing to my computer.
It's loading the map, I think, the graphics. But
loading
yeah.
a virus. But no, I saw the thing, and it does have it. So I will drop that link out for you guys if you'd like to take a look-see at it. Epstein secrets. I'll put it into the chat for you guys as well, so you have that. And just be cautious. You already clicked on the website. You already went to it.
Yeah, I already went to it. It worked for my browser, but I don't have like a normal. I have Brave browser, so it kind of.
It's Epstein secrets.
It
link,
checks
guys.
it out for me.
There you go. Perfect. Go on D Live, and then I will get over to the YouTube. I will get it over to you guys in 1 second. So thank you to the mods again. I also again wish you guys had or hope you guys had a great wonderful Merry Christmas out there. Hope Santa Claus brought you guys everything you wanted. And Happy New Year come a couple days from now. And that's why I was looking it up, and because my math is so crappy. But it looks like we'll be back on the 5th. So, yep, Monday is the 5th, and we'll be back with episode 190. Mac and Lisa, 190. That's not bad for a one show a week show. Episode 190. It's like what, 4 years or so? 4+ years there. So crushing it, and we're gonna keep continuing to do it, guys. We'll be back on the 5th, January 5th, Monday at 7 p.m. normal time, or the new normal time for the last 6-8 months or whatever it's been. And once again, thank you to the mods and all of you guys for all hanging out with us. And I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And for Mac and Lisa and myself, we do appreciate each and every last one of you wonderful world patriots out there for tuning in. And until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. YouTube, you're only getting one video on the outro. Rumble, you can hang around for 2. Peace.
Hello, guys. Something special is happening in here. That's right, it's brackets and jackets, bringing it back for brackets and jackets. Special Epstein Island edition. That's right, folks. Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the man with the island, which is suspiciously close to Haiti. That's right. You see, this man, Jeffrey Epstein, is funding lots of people. He's funding lots of people on the street to make sure his shit doesn't get out. That's right. They want the record sealed. And they're paying a lot of people. Epstein's paying a lot of people. Oh, boy. For one, he's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America. And I would bet you anything that Alex Jones is one of them. Prove me wrong. That's right. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the building with songs about Epstein. It's Breakfast Jackets Epstein edition. Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys. A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars. All right, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. The Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton. And Epstein is Haiti. And Epstein is a big network of media assets. By the way, did you know that Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money? Also, Epstein is Epstein Oprah. Epstein is Chris Tucker. You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein? Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell? Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. That's right, we're dropping red pills every day. Dropping red pills in the best kind of way. This is brackets and jackets for the denizens of islands.